Hi everyone, this is Irene, and this is Last Borough Standing. I'm featuring Anthony, aka Anthony Anderson Drums. What do you like to be called? And
Anthony Anderson
Anthony?
drums is perfect,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah,
All right.
because it's simplistic, but it stands out from the actual
Yeah. You ain't
Anthony.
got a nickname though, like on your block or anything like
Tony,
that? Tony. Okay.
Tony.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. What neighborhood are you from?
born and raised in the Hunts Point section of the Bronx.
Okay. Okay. How was that growing up in Hunts Point?
A little, pretty much a struggle. I would
Yeah.
say a struggle, but life changing for sure. Life
Mhm.
changing for sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
Definitely a lot of growth and survival.
Yeah.
So that's what I would definitely say when it was like growing up and living in Hunts Point was
Yeah.
all about survival mode.
Yeah. I feel like when you grow up in like the Bronx or any inner city neighborhood, there's always like constant survival mode, constant hyper
Right.
vigilance, and all these other factors. But then there's a beauty of it too.
Right.
So I guess like what were some of the advantages that you had, I guess, growing up in Hunts Point? Like, are there certain people that you met that kind of shaped the trajectory of your life? And if you never grew up in Hunts Point, you probably wouldn't have ever met them. Certain things like what are the positives of growing up in Hunts Point that you think kind of molded you into who you are?
I guess you can say for me, growing up in Hunts Point and being able to maneuver, I guess you can say, or know a lot of people. For me, a lot of people knew my family.
Mm-hmm.
So if they didn't know of me yet, they knew of my family.
Mm-hmm.
So some way down the line, they knew of me.
Yeah.
And just growing up with a huge family itself, that kind of like made everything easier for me, so to speak. Like if again, I'm growing up as a young kid, so everybody else is either older than me or
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting to know everybody. But for the most part, for me, it was definitely the people I knew that
Yeah.
got me around, or just being
Known.
known for just being around them. It was definitely
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that I stuck to.
So nobody would try nothing because they knew not to because you knew too many people. So they wouldn't even
That
they wouldn't even try it,
they wouldn't try
huh?
it, and they knew my family. So my
Uh-huh.
brothers and sisters, they were not
He was
playing.
like, they don't want that smoke. Oh, he's so and so brother? Nope, I ain't doing it. What's your background, your heritage? Tell us more about your nationality, what you identify as.
Honestly, I don't look African American or black. I guess you can say
You do.
I do, but me personally, I identify as black African American because my mom is African American,
Mm-hmm.
and without that, that's the seed right there. That's the pride and joy right there. So for me, African American, and I guess you could say Puerto Rican.
Okay, okay. And what do you do for a living professionally?
I'm a professional drummer. I've been playing drums since I was 9 years old.
Yeah. What influenced you to get into drumming at 9?
My father.
Yeah, tell me
Yeah.
more about that.
Mainly, growing up as a kid, like again, music was like 101 for me. I was very driven with just like the air, like
Mm-hmm.
hearing music, and I was like if I heard a beat or if I heard music that was interesting to me, I would react to it, and that's definitely what I did. Um, my father was the one who caught on to it and was like telling my mother, "We're gonna make him a drummer. He's gonna be a drummer one day." And from there, it just became history. Beating on pots and pans, just really like making a lot of noise.
Yeah, in the house.
Yeah, making noise and being known for being noisy. Like that's Tony, or can you tell him to stop, or
Yeah.
all this. So at that point, it just became history.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, what really made it like what really drove it for me was the fact that my dad passed away. I was 9 at the
Condolences.
time,
Mm-hmm.
and from there, I guess you could say that was the last vivid moment that I had with him, that I shared with him.
Mm-hmm.
Just that one-on-one of like how to do this, how does this work, how to all of that. I've got that from him, and I felt like everything else was taken away from me.
Mm.
Just him being there, his his uh his I guess you could say his persona, his voice being in the house, it was definitely gone. So with that being said, I just took the art of drums and everything he taught me, and I just told myself, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I enjoy doing. This is what makes me happy. Mm-hmm. This is what, like, I guess you could say, my best way of expressing myself, through drums, through the art of drums, or just getting lost in playing and everything between of that.
It was like a form of like escapism for you, I guess.
Absolutely.
Because you're growing up in the Bronx and there's so many other things going on. So you was able to just kind of get away from all of that and disassociate from all of that by playing drums.
Right. Yeah. And it was either drums, wrestling, or art itself, like drawing or anything like that. But for me, music definitely took everything from me. It was all types of music. So growing up and being in that household, it was a lot of hip hop, reggae, and R&B. And for me, I took all of that, implemented it into my style of playing, into just who I am, you know?
I like that answer. So growing up in the Bronx, there's also disadvantages that you have to face, like food insecurity, the school system, redlining, like so many different factors. Growing up in Hunts Point, I guess, what were some disadvantages that you faced in your youth?
I would say mainly the disadvantages I had as a kid, growing up in Hunts Point as a kid, really not really having a place to play, trying to figure out what to do, how to do things, creating things to do. I remember there was one point, like around the time, I guess you could say like 8, 9 years old, 10, they were still rebel. They were still like buildings that was burnt down that haven't been touched, or just decay, and just it looked like ground zero.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So again, us as kids, we're finding shit to do. So in reality, we're going into those abandoned houses. We're
gonna play manhunt.
We're gonna play manhunt. Yeah. We're gonna make the best out of things, and you know, and that's what we did to entertain ourselves and to get by, just to, like, you know, just have fun. And with the little resources, or not even just having resources, as time went on, we start to see the develop and the change of things within the neighborhood. But those 4 blocks, those areas, is where, for me per se, like, I made the best out of it. You know, with the people around, or just being well known in the neighborhood. That's what I made the best out of.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Was there anyone in your neighborhood that, like, other than your dad, that was an influence for you to continue to pursue your passion of drumming?
My mom.
Yeah.
My mom mainly. Just because of her struggle and her story, but mainly because of the fact that she was resilient. And I mean that in a way of just how she is, regardless of anything that she does, anything that she wanted to do.
Yeah.
She was resilient on making it happen, putting that forward, and that energy really just made me into not only being the person that I am, but just really, like, going about with life. You know, whatever you want in life, you kind of just, you don't want to just let it just pass you by. You want to just take a hold of it.
Yep.
Embrace it. Go for it. Don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Even if it's you're making mistakes or you're learning along the way, that's what it's meant for. But I see it like that, like just taking chances.
Yeah. And that resilience got you to where you are now. And it's so rare because I don't know any drummers from the Bronx. You're like the first one that I know. So I'm like, I can imagine, like, the younger people that you've probably come in contact with that are probably like, oh my God, like, he's black and he has this curly hair and he drums. Like, that must be so, like, I guess, rewarding.
Definitely. Because they see it as a lot of, especially in that area, in that community, they see me as one of them, you know?
Yeah. So that representation, to see that,
for sure,
it's, you know, motivating for them too.
Absolutely. And it's really more of, I see it as, no matter, it could be drums, it could be anything and you want to do in life. Just because, you know, what you may see online and everything, no, I'm still the same person. But for me, it's really more of just being yourself. I don't see anything else. But as long as you're yourself and you do what you want to do to make yourself happy, that's the best way of living life.
Yeah, facts. You ain't lying. So you mentioned that, like, there was a lot of hip hop and reggae played in your household. Like, how have those sounds, like you said, you implemented them into your style of drumming? Can you tell me more about that?
Um, I guess you could say is again like besides my heritage and
Mm-hmm.
besides my background, those types of musics, those type of music I've not only grown up to, I just love the most because it 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 has so much feeling and emotion. And for me, when it comes to music, if it doesn't give you a like, if it doesn't hit you, it doesn't like make you feel something.
Like Bob Marley says, when
Yeah,
music hits you, you feel no
you feel
pain.
no pain
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever. Like that's why, for instance, like when it comes to playing drums, a majority of the time I'm playing with my eyes closed because I'm feeling the beat or I'm lost in the song and I'm just giving it my all.
Yeah.
It's all those. It's every. I would say every type of music, but it's definitely those styles of music, R&B, hip hop, rock, alternative. It makes me feel something, and that I'm definitely gonna just put my heart and soul in
Yeah.
for sure.
Do you as a drummer have a favorite drummer that you like?
I have several,
Yeah.
but my go-to is Travis Barker
Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice.
because he's just like he started the same way I did, like
Mm-hmm.
marching band and being in the band, and then just implementing different styles of music into your own style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you
Mm-hmm.
hear Travis, you know it's Travis.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
he's putting rock, hip hop all in one. And it's like the same thing with me. I'm implementing all of my styles of music where it could be like, oh, yeah, that's Anthony. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It has its own
It
identity.
has its own identity,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's what makes most drummers or drummers itself unique and different.
Yeah.
You have to have your own style.
Yeah.
We all have so many different types of music or different types of genres where we, I guess you can say, we're inspired by or we look up to the most or we play the most of.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely shown in their style of drumming for sure.
Yeah. Um, I've seen on your social media that you've played at so many different events and concerts, but do you have a favorite like event that you like played for and why?
Uh, I don't have much footage of it, but I
Yeah.
do have footage of it. Um, I would never forget this experience because I think it kind of changed me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just being there. For 2 years in a row, in the last band I was in, we got the opportunity to perform in Rwanda, Africa.
Oh wow. You got to go to the
Oh
motherland.
yeah,
Oh
and when I mean it, not only like the air, everything, literally everything, the people, the atmosphere, all of it was amazing.
yeah.
Like, and just to see how they react to our music was even amazing. Mind you, we're on a festival where it's a lot of Caribbean bass, a lot of soca, a lot of that Caribbean style of music playing
Mm-hmm.
as with these artists.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only ones, not only from New York, but we're giving that rock and hip hop feel into that I guess you could say that festival.
Yeah.
So we stood out completely.
Yeah.
And when we hit the stage, and when it was great, but all
Yeah.
I remember was getting off that stage and just having so many little
Oh my
children or just people just literally
God.
embracing us. It was like, oh my god, this I felt like I was like a legit like,
You felt like you was at home.
oh my god,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
definitely like life changing.
Mm-hmm.
I have photos as well. Like
Yeah.
I was taking definitely a lot of photos with a lot of kids, and
Yeah.
man,
That
that was
energy.
definitely life changing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been to Africa as well, a few countries, and it's like you said, the air, something about that energy when
Yeah,
you are a descendant, when you go back, it's almost like a homecoming.
absolutely.
And then also like the music and the drumming, like it a lot of that influence is from there as well. So it just for that in that moment for you, I'm sure it just all kind of came together and just was this big like I don't even know what to call it.
It felt like, if I wouldn't say a full circle, but it felt like an experience that I want to keep going through every day,
Mm-hmm.
every
Mm-hmm.
day.
Yeah.
And all I remember was they were going wild during my drum solo part. So
Yeah.
getting off the stage and then having to
That
embrace
rush.
everybody,
Yeah, I would have been crying. I would have been in tears.
I was just like, yo, this is a lot, but it's I
It's a
love
good
it.
feeling.
I love it.
Yeah, that rush. Oh my God.
Just to have people have that feeling of knowing like, damn, these people feel what I feel.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Mhm.
I'm so like proud that you was able to experience that, especially as a Bronx youth.
Yeah.
A lot of times like inner city kids and sometimes adults, they don't leave. Sometimes they don't have passports or they just kind of stay confined to their neighborhood because that's all they know. So for you to even have that experience to be able to go to another country, play, and then have other children and other people embrace you, like
I remember
it's a unique experience for sure.
For sure. I remember coming back after that, and I remember coming back, and it was coming back to the Bronx. So it was like a whole different experience. Like, whoa, like I'm coming back to this now.
Mm-hmm.
So coming back to it, it was weird, in a way that I was like, man, I don't want to be here. I want to go back. Like, you know.
That's how I feel every vacation. As soon as the plane starts to get over the New York skyline, and as much as I love New York and New York is home, I'll be like, damn. Can we turn the plane around real quick? Just
that's how it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of people knew that I was going there, so it felt honored to be like, yo, like you went to Africa.
Yeah. That in itself, you don't hear a lot of people going to Africa from the Bronx, unless they're African. Like if they have family out there and they're going every year to visit their family,
or
fine.
They're bringing money home, or they're investing.
Right. If they're doing other things, but to just go to work or for leisure for any reason, it's kind of like, oh wow, you went, or you know someone that went. It's like a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna kind of switch gears and go over to something that I feel like is starting to affect the Bronx, and it's already affected other boroughs, gentrification. I have a couple of questions that I kind of want to ask you in regards to that.
Okay.
But the Bronx was one of the last boroughs, and we're starting to see little changes, especially in the South Bronx. So I want to ask you, like, do you remember the first instances of you starting to see certain changes in certain neighborhoods, just where you were kind of like, uh-oh, like, this is starting to change?
For me, honestly, I think it was probably around 2017, 2018. Me coming back to the Bronx. I remember I was coming back to the Bronx after being in a band and being on the road. So constantly, I wasn't really around as much, but I knew of what was going on, and I was always in touch with my family that was there. But for me, like once I was done with where I was with the band I was in, I came back home. I sacrificed the tour. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do the last tour. I'm going to just go home. So from that being said, me coming home, I started to see little changes, and I saw little changes mainly in like the Mont Haven area, the Mont Haven section, Port Morris, definitely like that area of the South Bronx, and even where I'm living now, where I was born and raised, Hunts Point. That area itself is not only being, gentrified is such a like a crazy word.
Yeah.
It's a big word, and it has so many different meanings. So it's like, I don't want to call it that, but it's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I see it as, we didn't have these things, and now we're finally getting it. So now it's like benefiting the community and us. As long as it's benefiting the community and benefiting the people that live in the community, and not taking away anything from that,
or displacing them, or stripping the culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything that, as long as it's there to provide for us, by us, that's how I see it. Anything else after that is like, all right, then I think at this point we would have a right to say something, or stand up, or protest, or whatever the case may be. But for me, I think if it's providing a great thing in the community, then it feeds its purpose.
Yeah. Do you think there are certain like businesses that are, I guess, old and new, trying to stay true to the Bronx or try to give back to the community?
Yeah, I would say definitely. There's a lot of businesses out there, especially the ones that's been there for the longest,
Mm-hmm.
or even if it's over 10, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've been holding it down for the community.
Yeah.
Maybe I could probably give a shout out, or probably say the Bronx Brewery. They've been doing it for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and I I haven't seen anything crazy when it came to them, but for the most part, they've been holding it down for everybody. Just
Yeah.
having a safe place to be, hang out, drink, have a good time, live music, great
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see. I don't. If, as long as if it's providing that and giving that for the community,
Yeah.
it's a plus.
I feel like the Lit Bar is a good example of that too.
Absolutely.
I remember going last August, I think, with my best friend, and she had this giveaway. I think you were able to buy books by the pound.
Yeah.
And I bought like so many books for like $20.
That's pretty
So
cool.
many books. Like me and my best friend had these bags that we could barely carry full of books. And I'm like, when businesses do that, when they, are relatively, I guess, more fresh to the neighborhood, but they're giving back to the neighborhood, that's when I'm like, okay, like you're doing a good thing.
And it's creative as it is, because
Yeah.
let's be real.
Like Barnes and Noble out of Co-op City.
Right.
For that to come back, I was like, yes, like somewhere we could get physical books.
And a bar.
And a bar.
Can't go wrong
Best
with that.
Of both.
That's the best of both. And
Yep.
Come on.
Yo. How do you plan on like carrying the legacy of the Bronx in the face of all of these changing demographics and development?
For me, how do I continue to give back?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can say just continue to not only be me and be true to myself and from where I came, where I was born and raised, and where I reside and represent.
Mm-hmm.
Find a way, and it could be any way. I would say find a way to be more involved in the schools, in the community. I've had experience where I was teaching. I got the opportunity to teach. I think it was like fifth graders and sixth graders. I was teaching them literally like an assembly,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Each class that I had told that I had taught, it was teaching them how to play certain songs, and
on the drums.
On the drums. So it was literally like bring in that musician that represents the Bronx, and this is what he's gonna do for you guys today. Sorry.
It's fine.
This is what he's gonna do for you guys today, and from there, that experience was awesome.
Yeah.
It was literally class after class after class until the end of the day.
Oh my God. And I think that's so lit because you look like them too. When you are a representative of the kids, when you look like them, it does something to them. Like I remember growing up, and if I did have a black teacher or a teacher with braids, like that in itself was like, oh my God, a teacher that looks like me. Right. So I can imagine someone of talent that's playing the drums, that's fresh, you going in front of them and showing them like, yeah, I'm from your neighborhood and I do this as an adult, so you can do whatever you want. It's so dope.
You can do whatever you want.
It's not like in a lot of like, I want to say Caribbean backgrounds or black backgrounds, there's always this, you need to go to school and be a lawyer, a teacher, a doctor, like these professions that are kind of pushed on us. You're kind of like, well, I want to play the drums.
I went for music.
You went for music.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself, going into the creative and the arts, I love it. I love that for you.
Absolutely.
I love that for you. And I love that you're showing them that that's the way and that's a path, and they don't have to stick to the regular, oh, be this, oh, be that.
Or the generic.
The generic,
so right?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with those professions. We need those professions. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I think this is my last question for you.
Okay.
Do you have an area in the Bronx that is your favorite? And I mean, like, it could be tied to like a memory, like, I don't know, where you used to hang out with your friends or something really funny happened. Like, do you have a favorite memory in the Bronx? And where was it and why? I know I'm getting in your business.
A favorite memory in the Bronx?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I mean, I had tons of memories, but for me, like I said, I made the best out of the 4 blocks that my building or like my area where I used to live. I made the best out of that area, so I knew everybody, or knew friends. We got together. I guess you could say the playground that was there, that's still there. It's called Lions Playground Park. So it's right next to PS 75. That was the elementary school that I went to. So that was always the meetup spot. That was always where, we just had fun there.
Yeah.
Everything went down. Besides fights and all that other
Of
craziness.
course. Yeah,
It was just the fact that everybody came there to hang out. We even you wanted to know, crazy, so we even did like some sort of backyard wrestling.
Oh, in the park?
Yeah. So it was
That's such a classic New York kid story. Like,
seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like the school was throwing away furniture and boxes and all these things, and we were utilizing that and beating each other with it. Told you.
That's funny. That is so funny.
Like I said, like at that time, we were just making the best out of things.
You had to make the best, yeah. And like our generation, like we didn't have technology.
We didn't.
So we had to go to the park. We had to go to these places and interact with our friends and call them on the house phone, like, "Hey, meet me at the park at this time."
I don't remember having a cell phone at that time.
Same.
It was going to the houses.
We going to the park, meet up after school.
Yes.
We're gonna either ride bikes or play double dutch.
Yes.
Or we just gonna go on the swings. Or we just gonna sit down and just talk.
I miss those days, honestly.
Same. I still try to do it to this day as an adult.
Yeah.
Where I still go to my childhood park uptown.
Okay.
And I'll lay out on a blanket and read a book, or I'll take my son. It's right by the Bronx River. So when he was like younger, I used to take him to feed the ducks. We would break bread and feed the ducks, and then I would take him into the playground to play.
Right. And
just doing that on a multi-generational level, like that fulfills me, because I remember being a kid playing in that park, and now I'm taking him to play in the park, and I'm just like, give me your phone. Go play. Go run up and down.
Right.
Go talk to other kids.
Right.
Go be social.
Right.
So I guess as an inner city kid, like it's always the parks.
It's always the parks. Let's be real. That at that time, especially even at the rate where the Bronx was being developed, they were making sure that playgrounds was the first thing they did before they put housing up. Especially in the area where we were.
Yeah.
Where I lived, the area where I lived, they had like, at one point it was a building, but they pretty much made it into a park because they knew at that area there's a lot of kids around there.
Yeah.
So if they don't have anywhere to play, where are they gonna go?
Yep.
And I think that's a great idea, but we can only hope for the best at this point.
Yeah.
It took a while for, at least, like you said, like for the Bronx to be one of the last boroughs to be fully gentrified. And with that being said, it's like I just hope that it's for the best. Yeah.
I kind of see it happening too, like from the part of the Bronx where I'm from, uptown, like that same childhood park I told you about. Now there's bike lanes and there's benches to sit at, and they just changed the landscaping of it. There's more trees, so in a sense, it's kind of good because the things are kind of getting better in a way, which is, again, beneficial for us, but only if it's beneficial, not if it's not.
That, or there's a hidden agenda behind it.
Exactly.
Like that's not what, especially for the people that's been living in the community for all these years. We want to see change. Don't get me wrong,
but not at the place of like displacing them or
exactly
moving them out where they can't afford to like benefit from all of these things that are being developed.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I do want to see your childhood park if you want to take me uptown to see it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a tour of Hunts Point.
We're gonna go and we're gonna have a tour, and I'm gonna show you exactly where everything is.
You're gonna have me in Hunts Point, y'all. I'm an uptown Bronx girl, so you got me in the south, because I went to high school in the South Bronx. My high school was on 140th and Morris.
Okay.
So I used to ride the train up and down. So I want to say I've kind of experienced both sides, but I've had friends that lived in Hunts Point, Castle Hill, Prospect, Jackson area, 3rd Ave. So I was able to kind of dabble into those areas even as a teenager to kind of see what it was like.
Yeah.
And still going back now, I'm starting to see the differences too, but I definitely wanted to see Hunts Point and see what it's looking like now. So
it's definitely it's came a long way.
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's still in development, but
Yeah.
it's came a long way, which is a really good thing.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see.
Yes.
In the ghetto. We're at Hunts Point. Right here.
So they fixing this. Right there is my school.
They developing that too, or fixing it?
Yeah, they're probably changing the bricks or who knows.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
This is it?
this is where I grew up. Here 75.
Okay.
I went here since I was like 6th grade. Sixth grade is when I left.
Yeah.
But now I don't know how it is, but at this point
You haven't been inside?
I haven't been inside. I don't know what it looks like. I have images of when I went to school in there. But for the most part, this was it. This used to be a walkway. As you can see, the bridge is gone now.
Yeah, they took it down.
It took it down.
Wow.
Now, like I said, everything is being redeveloped. We don't know what the change is going to look like, but there's going to be some real change. It was barely, we didn't have these resources when I grew up here. We did not have any of these resources. This is a gym. It's a handball court on the side over there, basketball courts, and a playground.
So you can use it for different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, where it's like, I wish we had this when we were younger. But I'm grateful that it's happening now for the community.
Yeah. I wish I was able to do a before and after to show what it used to look like versus what it's like now.
I mean,
It looks clean. Even the bathrooms look different. Like, you know what New York Park bathrooms used to look like and what it looks like now? Like, look at this. Mad modern.
Modern, and where you see this in the Bronx?
Nowhere. It used to be the little like brick looking house with the little roof on the top.
Yep.
It used to smell crazy. And this is another park you used to play in?
This was the park that I actually grew up in because it was right here from my house.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
You went to the one by school too.
I went to the one by my school.
Yeah. Did this look like this back then, or did this also change? So
2001 type shit.
Oh,
when
so we
they
were
really-
like 10, 11 years old.
Yeah. So I actually was here in this park when they did the cutting.
Oh, when they opened
They
it.
opened it. So
And you were a kid.
I was really small.
Yeah.
So again, that building itself right here, that big building, my family grew up on the 8th floor. From there, we moved to the first floor, which has had much bigger space. It was obviously, it was so many of us, we had to move down to the first floor.
Right.
But for the most part, this area alone is now, this is stomping grounds pretty much. Literally. All of this was rubble, burnt down. You could even see, like, it's still here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a park, but you could tell that they stopped, or the development didn't really come into completion. But
So now it's just open.
open space,
People parking there.
you know?
It's
or
just-
I guess someone lives there or whatever.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they put a building over there. I wouldn't.
But literally, they made a lot of new buildings over here. Making me reminisce. a
Reminisce.
little.
That's the point. Take you
Yeah.
back into time.
I remember niggas used to throw soap on that slide and have niggas slide down that shit.
Oh. Make it extra slippery.
For real, OD. It was reckless. We were reckless. Just falling out, having fun, you know?
Yeah. Do you know what year it was built?
I have no idea, but I know this was one of the
Them OG buildings.
OG buildings while this was all rubble.
Yeah.
All of this.
And I know like the
You could just tell,
pre-war,
right?
the pre-war buildings have bigger apartments, I feel like.
Yep.
Like more space.
And this was one of them.
Yeah.
'Cause I
You could tell
definitely-
by the design of it too.
Yep. I was definitely living in an apartment where it was just too big.
Yeah. Mad space.
Mad space.
That's the space we need now, but instead they're like cutting it up
Exactly.
to make it smaller so they can rent out more units.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at this point, all these buildings at one point looked like each other. But some way down the line, after they got burnt out and was burnt out to the ground, they made this into like another situation because all these buildings look like each other at one point.
Oh, to say were that
You know what I'm
identical?
saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So now we're walking to your building.
My room.
Back home. How you feel?
Back home, weird as fuck. Crazy. My room literally is right here.
Oh, for real? Did you
Right
ever
here.
sneak out?
Of course.
Right here. Listen,
Right here.
you just gotta
Just
jump in and out.
In and out. Boom, boom, boom. We outside. That's it. So I think now they turned it into a daycare center.
Yeah, I see that.
So I think because again, this was a big apartment. Like I would say 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and just space of a living room and the dining room itself. But I guess with that space, they probably knocked down the walls.
Yeah, and opened it up.
Opened it up even more. Because this was at one point my aunt's room.
Yeah.
When she moved to Queens,
Yeah.
she took me with her. This was her bedroom. And this was my room at one point, but we moved over. So my sister used to live there. Used to live in there when we just moved over. But that's really what it was. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Redeveloped.
And when
Over
you
there
was
as
growing,
well. Those
when you,
buildings was burnt out as well.
I could tell like those look relatively new. Like those look a little bit more modern. Just the way the windows look. Like look at that compared to this.
Yep.
You see, like you could just tell the older buildings in New York versus the more modern ones.
You don't go there because it's close to look.
Yeah.
Might be, I don't know what it is, you know. That used to be like a sort of a club.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. At one point it was a club. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
It was a bingo hall. It was like where they did lottery and gamble. My grandfather used to stay in there
For real?
all day. But for the most part, I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
See how like some of these buildings are still here. Because again, you see the modern look and you see how the older buildings look.
Yup.
That did not get burnt out. They
Yup.
definitely stuck around.
They stood standing. I also feel like the newer buildings are built up too quick, so they tend to have more problems, whereas like the older buildings, they like stand up a little bit stronger. Like the infrastructure is like actual brick, and it's like they took their time with building it and
Right.
putting it together.
Blah.
Yeah.
I have that one spot. If I was still living here, or at the time while I was living here, I had a spot that I could always go to that I could be like, all right, I'm chilling here for the day.
Yeah, I need to
You
get
know?
my mind right.
Right. And
So there wasn't a waterfront before?
it wasn't. It was all rubble. It was all like part of the train tracks, a part of the Bronx River. Just, again, debris, just crap.
Yeah.
It was, and I guess they finally just cleaned it up, and it's been like close to 10 years now since it's been in development. But at this point, it's like even the area itself, slowly but surely, is being redeveloped.
He said he was catching snakes outside in the Bronx. I don't know about all of that. I catch me a little butterfly or some like little the bugs that light up, but not those snakes. I wonder what this used to be like back in the day.
It was a dump. It was where people dump their trash.
And bodies? No. I wouldn't be surprised.
Not be surprised. I think this is the Metro North.
Oh, yeah, or Amtrak. Yeah. So this is new. It looks new-ish. It don't look old, but it don't look new.
Yeah. At one point, like I said, this was like, who knows what it was? Like buildings or housing.
Right.
And then,
or maybe nothing.
Exactly. Because at one point, this was a dump. It was a wasteland. It was just like trash and trailers and shit just everywhere. So I guess they cleaned it up and decided to make it convenient for everybody in the public, which is great.
Yeah. This would be nice to like walk on a hot day or like ride your bike or just to come get some scenery. I can't imagine in the next, I don't know how many years, what the rest of this might look like, you know?
Yeah. This falls in line with what we were talking about when it comes to gentrification. Mm-hmm. Is it good for the community, or is it for a cause?
Yeah.
Is it for an agenda? Is it for a purpose that we don't know, or you know what I mean?
And can people that afford to live here, like, are they benefiting from it, or are they going to be displaced? You know?
Right. Great chill spot to like clear your head if you want to just come outside and you don't got nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Why not? And again, people throw barbecues here. People have family occasions here. Mm-hmm. It's cool.
Y'all used to climb on these?
Yeah, but there was like, again, it looked like a factory or some shit.
Yeah, so maybe it used to be. Maybe it used to be, and this is all that's left.
Right.
Oh, they set up the kayaking over here. Oh, you just walk down and walk back up.
Really?
Edible food forest.
Maybe when that shit grows.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not now.
Yeah, not ever. Not ever.
Not ever. I'm dead.
Maybe if it was it next to train tracks.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I would probably be like, all right. Oh, I can see how this was the train station.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Probably back in like 1910 or some shit.
I did a photo shoot here though.
Oh, you did?
Not, yeah.
In front of it, or like, were you able
around
to go
here,
inside?
this whole thing.
Oh.
Not in here.
Oh. Hi. Bye. He's like, take me, take.
When I hear last Borough standing, I think of the Bronx. Through the struggles, through the times, through all the gentrification and everything that we've been through, we went through so much in order to just say that you were still here. You know, and I say that with all boroughs, but for the Bronx, for me, I can definitely say that for sure.